Well, good morning. We have a delay in the baseball proceedings, so there'll be no game at least this today. Kurt, who was the sponsor of that 60s tournament, is otherwise predisposed. Hope everything turns out right for him. So we'll figure out a night this week to get in the game between the Pirates, the 60 Pirates, and the 63 Dodgers. And I've been up since 5. Wifey had a small thing at the hospital this morning that she had to be there for at 7, and she's the one that gets me up on the weekends. And what was the other thing? So I've been up since 5. I've actually got a bunch of stuff taped. I'm going to be putting up a football game later on today to just for giggles between the Jets and the Patriots. So we'll refigure a time for the baseball game, and when we do, you'll be able to see that live. So as usual, I'm here to answer your question, for your dining and dancing pleasure. Any questions that you might have, of course, it would help if someone was here to watch. But so that's what we got going on for you. How are you out there? Been an interesting couple weeks for me. I'm going to check the Discord because it keeps bopping off. That's a bad word, Ron. And you can see I've now discovered with my receding hairline goes through all the way down to the back. So if you got any questions, now's the time to ask them. We could go Thursday. Woke up and I've been fighting a cold for about 2 weeks ago. Was fighting a little cold. Not enough to be terrible or anything like that, but enough to knock off the voice. So we had to postpone one broadcast. Then got my voice back in a couple days, did some things. Then the wife caught the cold. That was always fun. You trade things back and forth between you and your loved one. And guess what? She gave it back because that's the type of wife she is. And so that really threw me for a loop. To take cold medicine, which I haven't had to do for a while. And when it gets in the voice and what if I was still writing, you just kind of sniffle your way through it and no one cares. But since what I do is talk, then that won't do you any good. Live from Studio O. You able to take a camera call there? That would be a good time to join me if you'd like. If you're doing the stuff with the voice, it just doesn't really can't do anything with it, and so you just gotta let it rest. And so lost the second week of that, and then when I got back on Tuesday, got about the football game. The thing is, when you have a lot of incomplete passes in a football game, I was doing what was it when I was doing Tuesday? Oh, the Cowboys and the Redskins. Incomplete passes mean stop clocks, and stop clocks means that the game runs slow. And I realized about halfway through the second quarter of that game going, my voice isn't going to make it the full game. So looking up and going, I think we're going to cut this at halftime, which is what I did. Had a great second half and then was able to get in the game on Thursday. Then Friday, I had a date with Mr. Toy Toy and spoke to him several times over the course of the afternoon and just felt like car rap again because that's all I did on Friday was car rap. So yesterday was fun. We did the live stream with Kurt and James from Pine Tar Baseball. If you haven't seen that, please go do so. And Kurt, of course, is the sponsor of that 60s tournament. And he's got some issues going on, and so he didn't think he could make it for noon, and that's fine with me because I've been up since 5 a.m. because the wife had an appointment. Wife is fine. We'll hopefully get some answers to some long-term questions that she's had. She's out there sleeping, and as soon as she wakes up, I'm going to have some quick lunch, and then I'm going to go out and get some air because it's a nice day. You can see from there behind me. Okay, well, let me give you the link. me see if I can find you. Here we go. There. Let's see if Mr. Utah Mike will come in. Just him watching it live anyway. So we'll put him on. So yeah, it's been a long morning. What else have I got going on? We got some things in the can. Football game that I'll post later on. I did a period of strat hockey, which Dave Gardner requested, and so I'll post that. And thanks to ID Jester, I got a copy of OOTP 20. And I did an interesting experiment with that. If we did the complete history of how long of a morning, it was so long. It was so long that it went back to bed. Got a copy. ID Jester gave me a copy of OOTP 20 baseball. And so it took 3 efforts to do it. But I actually have the complete history of Major League Baseball from 1901 forward as told by OOTP. And so live on the stream from studio
Ron.
is Mr. Sports Time Machine. How are you doing, Mike?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So I was saying just before you came on that I got the gift of OOTP 20 and just ran. I think I did this Friday. Took 4 hours for the computer to do it. Played the entire history of Major League Baseball from 1901 to, well, it didn't have the transactions and stuff for this year, but like to the present day. Exact lineups, real life transactions, and it played them all in 4 hours.
So you autoed Major League Baseball history?
Yep, I did. Did a video, and that will be going up sometime this week.
Yikes. Okay. That sounds like could be fun.
There was one decade, I think the 20s, where the Yankees won 10 straight pennants. Now, I will say this. They are tied for the all-time World Series mark. They did not win 26.
27?
Or however many that you pretended that you've won. Yes, 27. Was it 27?
Yes. Because the magic number, like I posted on Facebook today, our magic number is 11 when it went into this year.
That's your magic number. That's not mine.
Well, you guys too. We won 3 in the DS, 1 in the LCS, and we still got 7 more wins to get. So
yes, but I saw that, and I can't imagine George Steinbrenner taking pieces of clothing off of him.
See, you got that. See, okay.
Just a bit outside. But no, it was interesting. It was interesting. So all the games were played with the real life lineups, and so there was kind of some of it was so it didn't really give OOTP chance to create careers and all that. I did one with that, and apparently it tries to hook in all the history with the things that preceded the American League in with the American League. So when I was going through the Red Sox stuff, it was like, oh, no, do you want in too, Mr. Gardner? I can put you in. I lost my train of thought here. I was trying to put in the Louisville Colonels history from 1879 with the Boston Red Sox. Like, no, and no. So anyway, so congratulations on making the ALCS. My national friends who are in 7 heaven after 2 games of that.
Well, how many hits have the losing team had in the first 3 games of the championship series so far? 4?
I think the Cardinals the Cardinals have had 4. I don't know how many hits the Astros had last night.
2, I think. Tanaka had 1 or 2 hit him, I think.
So there you go. All right. So we're not supposed to talk about baseball. Daddy says we can't. So how's Utah looking?
Cold right now. We're in the middle. Looks like we have fall afternoons, but very chilly evenings. So
it was 45 when I woke up this morning.
my night started when it was 39 and got as low as 36, and I still have maybe another 4 more hours, 2 at least, possibly 4 if my boss is coming in. So
so all right. So the new version of StreamYard, by the way, allows you, I think for paid users to actually stream in multiple different places at once. So
I
last
saw
night
that. Yeah, I got an email on that. So what does that mean? You can do with that and Facebook at the same
you
time,
could do
or
that in Facebook, or they were working on something with LinkedIn to try to get so you could stream on LinkedIn. Facebook, I think Twitch integration, I think for some things would be a bigger deal, but a lot of people use restream.io, but that's not free, and that enables you to stream in like 30 different places. I'm not sure if you can stream on Instagram or not. I'm not Mr. Social Network, but yes, theoretically you could stream on Facebook and YouTube and potentially on the more than one YouTube channel. But don't hold me to that. So let's say the next time Dave and I do a live edition of Digital Dice, we could stream it on my channel and his, or certainly on YouTube and onto Facebook under the group there. And the comments would kind of, thanks, Madam Speaker. The comments would come from both. So this is the new one. It doesn't give in my side column there. It gives me where the source. Of course, I'm only streaming on YouTube, but so if someone was watching on Facebook Live or whatever, that the comments would come up and everything would be integrated. So, but yeah, they gave the free users a little bit of that, but they were pretty proud of that. It's from watching some of their town hall stuff. They do a weekly chat at 9:30 on Sunday nights here in the East. They're both California dudes. That was something that was a pretty requested feature. So what do you got going on besides work from Studio O?
Probably nap and probably get up and watch Game 2 again. But yeah, what I've been working on is a 1920 kind of mini league right now, since
Let's
there's only
talk about
7
that, yeah.
Americans. So I'm doing like a 56 game league there, so that's pretty cool there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get more cards. I'm trying to get more cards and dice and do it. I just need to get the right camera angle and do it how it's going to work out for me. So I'm seeing that Jester's using StreamYard now to do his stuff, which is interesting. I haven't found out why he's doing that, but it's pretty cool he's doing that.
It's just easier to set up. Although he is XSplit. He and I have the same streaming software. So I think that would be the right 1919 is a cutoff for Dead Ball era. I mean, Ruth hit 54 and 20, right?
Yeah, he had an unreal year. So
I would say that 19. That was also the year that they banned the spitball, except for those who were throwing it. Was 1920. So that really was the change, and of course it peaked in 1930 when it became beer league softball for a year. Then it kind of
the last 2 years have been heavy on the softball.
Yeah, but there were an average of 8.8 strikeouts per game this year. And it was a big deal when someone had 5 strikeouts in a game on the mound. Now that's too far, but it'll come back. I do want to ask your thoughts on the latest with because Salt Lake City is the Angels AAA team. What came out yesterday with the allegations of 5 Angel players being supplied opiates by members of the front office.
Yeah, I have not read the full story yet. It came through as an ESPN alert on my phone, and it kind of disappoints me. But if people still, I know his parents are going to be majorly pissed off. I'm sorry if I'm saying that word on Uncle Ron's show, but I know his parents are going to be pretty peeved and they're going to want some retribution. But I think they should look at the first obvious side, that Tyler is an adult. And unless someone actually they stuck him down his throat and held him down, I'm sorry, he could have said no.
Well,
So
you should read Craig Calcaterra's take on all that. It's pretty damning towards the team, to be honest.
well, I know that. Why know one went on paid leave? I don't know what was going to happen with the others. So again, I have to read that story again.
Let's see.
I know
Pine
it.
Tar, which we talked about last night. Oh, thanks for the Elster card. Did you make him a special? Oh, is that for in the app? Must have been Elster wasn't carded.
Oh yeah, he said he couldn't do the '86 like that fall classic in '86 that you hide your eyes about because he didn't have Elster on his team. So there's this wonderful site that I want to do a thing on. It's called Strats 365. So if you bought stuff from Strat, you should be able to go on there and look at it. You can they've actually supply, and I'm surprised they do this. They actually supply cards from 2007 on to current, the actual cards.
Mm-hmm.
So why actually buy them when yeah, they would be painstaking to do it, but you don't need the app for those years. They have 82 on there, they have 86 on there, and that's why I found the Elster on there. So I just snipped it and emailed him the card for him. I mean, Elster had a crappy defensive rating, but not good card. I don't know how many games he played in that World Series. But
I'm trying to think. Well, he might have been. I mean, Rafael Santana was not a great defensive shortstop, and Backman was not the world's best second baseman. So there certainly were places to put Elster there. And
they had years from 2007 onward with extra seasons like 82 and 86, I think. So there's a ton of seasons that are basically free to get if you're a Strat user. All you have to do is just put your ID in there and then go into browser and then teams and boom, the whole thing is right there.
And on Tuesday when they go back to work, it'll all be shut off thanks to Mike. All right. Does he dare try Pine Tar Game 2? I think if you look at Pine Tar as the product of someone's hobby, as opposed to, I don't want to say serious game company, but someone that's going to be producing lots of things in the future, you might get a little more enjoyment out of it. But yes, I'm not going to say much more than that. But try it and see what your vibe is.
Whose idea was I asked that in Discord. Not sure if anyone answered it. Whose idea was the ATG sets? Was it theirs, or did somebody request it?
I think it was theirs. I think it was theirs.
They could have used that same gung-ho mentality and maybe produce another season.
Well, he said that it takes 5 months to produce a season because he's entering all the.
I know he still made 30 team, unless he didn't come up with splits for these all-time great guys. I don't know. So
I don't. It wasn't their best season. So it's not like if you buy the Yankees, you're getting 27 or 21 Ruth. It would be, I think for him, they went 8 seasons deep, which is still pretty good. I don't know. They were very proud of their work. I like the idea of the manager cards.
The broadcaster cards are pretty cool too, I guess.
Yeah, that's just kind of a color. I mean, in the History Maker baseball, they had the umpire cards, and that I think is a good. If it's not overdone, I think is very good. No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, in case I have any Office O shenanigans, you'll be first here to hear it. So just in case.
Okay. So yeah, it was an interesting. I mean, obviously they care very much, and Kurt and I have talked off air about who should be carded and who shouldn't be carded on some teams. Good luck trying to just limit the Yankees to 30 or 31, or the Red Sox, or the Dodgers, or the Giants. But yeah, pretty clear it's not just a hobby to them, and they've gotten some sales out of it.
Well, I know Stratomatic I got in the email, they just released their rivalry set.
I did see that.
The 6-team set. So, and again, they're only carded and statted for games against their rival opponent, which is interesting in a way.
That's an intriguing thing. I mean, you're a Yankee fan, obviously, but if you looked at, teams, obviously it'd be difficult in football because teams only play each other in college once a year, and in the pros twice a year. So let's say if you were to do a giant Cowboy rivalry, there'd only be a handful of games that, let's say, Tony Dorsett would have played against the Giants. How do you card on something that might have only, just for instance, that would be 8 games, and trying to make that accurate.
I got a question to ask you. Is there a chance I can borrow $5 from you until I get back later? I'll get back to you when I get back.
All right, so we'll mute Mike for a second there. We'll let Baseball Demos have some good ideas with some work done in the game. It could be a good game. I just kind of wonder, I don't want to pick on anything in specific, because like I said, it's pretty obvious this is just this person's hobby. All right, I muted you while there were people in the office.
Okay, you're good.
Okay. That you just kind of wonder, because one of the things that kind of came up last night in the conversation, and it really wasn't talked about all that much, is, and back in the day for APA and Strat, before the age of computers, before we could sit there and run through multiple simulations of a season, how much of a pain in the tushy would it have been for Hal and for sites at APA to be doing replays when you only had so long to get the cards out and to test them. You've played a lot of Strat over the years. We know that fundamentally it's a very sound game. But how would you do that without a computer to sit there and play test things like that?
I guess that thankfully technology. I love to see what they do, or they still use they still do a lot of the handheld stuff. I think in the office, the Excel work and stuff like that. But that must start from day one. I don't think they start when the season's over and try to compile next year's stats. I'm sure it's a running type thing. With the way my college education was, it would have been something I would have started at the end of the year and try to get everything done by February, as I usually try to cram stuff at the last second.
That's about what Strat would do, and I don't know when APA. Maybe someone can maybe tell me when APA comes out. I know Action PC will be done. Playoff teams are out now. In fact, don't tell anybody, but if a certain National League team from Washington makes the World Series, that we will be doing another pre-play of a World Series. Don't tell anybody that. But they've only released the playoff teams, and I know that there's smoothing that he does after the fact for when the new season comes out with a new edition in December. You can spit out numbers. I got the roster card season already for 2019 if I wanted to do something with that. But again, that's just, that's pretty rough. Not the game itself, but, anything that comes out that fast is bound to be rough around the edges.
Hang on 1 second, Ron.
Yep.
She gave me so.
I will just go solo for a second while he does something else. And mute him as well. So when he comes back, we'll bring him back up. So yes. Oh, Max, I didn't even see you come in. How are you, buddy? So this is Ask Uncle Ron. Uncle Ron's been up since 5. Uncle Ron's tired. And Sports Time Machine, Mr. Mike is in the house. I don't think you're in the minority in that. I mean, I don't. When I play roster card, I don't use lefty righty splits either. I understand that baseball is dictated by left-right strategy. And Al says you have a formula and you plug. Okay.
You got it for one day, right?
Yeah, one more day.
Hey, how much?
All right. He was not ready yet. Ha ha ha. I think when you play a basic game like that, any basic game, there's decent stats and speed, I think, is the goal of games like that. You can play basic APA in about 15 minutes. I can choke out a game of roster card in about 20 if the dice don't get all hot and bothered. I played 2 games today and it was quite hot and bothered. And it's all meant to be fun. There are not serious games, but games that take it to, like Replay, for instance, is a very deep game. Strat Advanced, Super Advanced for them. APA Master, where those things kind of come into play. And I don't want to say that you sacrifice playability, you sacrifice speed for more realistic, but it's all about what you want to have fun with. I would think. Just putting it. I know that that Dave Gardner is enjoying. Okay, is he ready? That Dave Gardner is really enjoying the basic part of strat hockey, but again, the more complexity you put into it, you sacrifice speed for I guess more realism. And yes, wasn't Mr. Mike a microphone they used to sell? I had one with a radio, little transistor radio in the early 80s. Did you ever have one of those? You like put it on 1700 AM and like, hey there, baby, I'll be back to pick you up in a moment.
I can see myself. I can't see you, Ron.
You can't see me? Maybe because I forgot to hit that button. There. So, did Mike own a Mr. Mike?
I did it. I mean, I've done my share of radio when I was in college and stuff, but I never owned one when I was a kid.
I loved it.
I remember doing a football game. I think it was Game 3 NLCS in '86, the Dykstra home run game. I think we had the radio on in the booth when Dykstra hit the home run at the end of our game. So,
yeah. So when you do cards and dice, because it's almost impossible, because you can't play basic on strat unless you roll and put your own stuff. We got in the topic just when that person came in about basics and advanced games. When you play strat by yourself, what do you tend to play?
I play a little. Well, in this 1920 thing, because I remember listening to Tabletop Delaware, because when he was going full gale when he was doing this 61 replay, the Maris Mantle watch, and then all of a sudden he stopped and went to basic, and he said, you know what, I'm doing it this way. Games are going to be faster, quicker, and I can get more games in. And I think that's the idea I'm looking at this, that I want to do it kind of quick and easy because of the time period. But I am going to try and doing like a 1988 NLCS with Dodgers Mets.
Mm-hmm.
See if Mike Socha haunts the Mets again.
Please.
But that one was a blowout Game 1 Mets, and I'm playing that. Super advanced or advanced with 3 or 4 super advanced rules. So it just depends on the years and the games I play.
When in baseball demo, I won't make you squint. Teams like the 79 83 Orioles, if you play basic. John Lowenstein is helpless versus lefties in advanced, but a star in basic. I consider.
Yeah,
I consider roster card a basic game. I've taken the splits right out of it. And I think for me anyway, and it depends, it's kind of like asking someone what their favorite pizza is. As long as you don't say Hawaiian, we're fine. But it's like no two people are going to agree on what their favorite toppings are. If you say, do you want pepperoni? Yeah, I'll take pepperoni. Do you want mushrooms? Get that crap out of here. See, I did say crap on my channel, Mike. You didn't think I could. No, get that stuff out of there. When you take on a project that is sizable, such as the 61 Yankees or any season replay, or our buddy Clinton, who's doing several full season replays, speed to me is of the essence. I'll take as long as it needs to play the game. But if personally, and this is just my own personal thing, I don't want to get bogged down. And if I know I'm going to play 162 games or 300 games or whatever in baseball, I don't want to get bogged down in playing to a 45-minute to an hour game, or else I never finish the project. I'm doing offline a Strat hockey replay, 81, 82, Edmonton, and the Islanders. And now those take between 40 minutes and an hour, because that's the way the game plays. And you understand that that's what it's going to be. That for me to get through the regular season, it's going to take about 160 hours to do. And that's fine. I couldn't do a full NHL season, though, that way. But speed is one part of it. Then again, you get, I think you know where I'm going with this. You get some games against some teams that just absolutely suck. It's like, I'll just get through these as fast as we know who's going to win.
It's not like you could turn on auto and on cards and dice either.
Exactly. And that, that's one of the things about roster card or basic strat or basic APA is, it's not, if you want Haagen-Dazs rum raisin, go out and buy Haagen-Dazs rum raisin. If you want your basic Neapolitan vanilla chocolate strawberry, this is what it is, or vanilla. And, there's no wrong answer to that. I would think, though, with football, you've played football. What's your experiences about that? A basic game compared to a more advanced game?
I played like the elementary strat before, and because the board is so comprehensive, it's an almost impossible game to play on a small tabletop.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I would find it difficult to be moving pieces when I know I'm playing both sides of the ball or playing one side of the ball. So I probably playing super advanced makes it almost impossible. But I love super advanced again when I'm playing one-on-one versus somebody else. But if I'm playing by myself or I try to stream it, cards and dice, it's much easier to try the elementary version.
All right. No, that's fair. Baseball Demos is going to go with advanced strat with Sadvi fielding. I don't think that if I was to play just cards and dice with actual cards and dice and not computer ports of that I would not touch the Sadvi stuff in either sport of the two that I play. I haven't played strat football since the original version. And I don't think I would ever get my money's worth out of the basketball game. I just don't really watch a lot of basketball, and so the $62 fee for that just doesn't really strike me as much. Although I do have a freebie called Above the Rim, which is kind of a status pro thing that can be fun, but you're just kind of the one thing that I like most about strat, among other things, is that you're playing the game and managing as opposed to rolling the dice and guiding the story along, if that makes sense. Nothing against APA or any of those, but first time I played APA and somebody said, well, you don't call your own steals. What? And the hit and run is flawed because if you, what? So, but that's, everyone has their own personal preferences. All right. I'll ask you, what one game do you really enjoy that you wish that you would like others to try?
Hmm. Um. Geez, that's. I don't know. Most people have played most of the games I played.
Not necessarily
I'll
though.
tell you. Know, let me just say this: the two games that I had that a lot of people have not,
Okay.
and I know I played one of them on the channel, one of them I haven't. Was the old XOR NFL Challenge
Well, I thought
game?
you were going to go with
I
that.
think
Yeah.
that game plays still wonderful to this day. The play calling is good. The playbook is still extremely strong. It is unfortunately it is very tight end fullback screen heavy, so you can have a tight end have 110 receptions for 2,000 yards receiving because the tight ends on the screens really could sometimes dominate this game really easy. But it's a wonderful game. You can still edit rosters. I still do it once a year if I want to make my greatest teams roster and see who's in the Super Bowl. They replace who I have, type thing. So that's really good. And also, I'm trying to get when I'm on their site, I'm trying to get some of the Lance Hafner stuff. But again, I haven't talked to the right person yet, or I haven't knocked on the right door. But the one game I do play is the Rampage Wrestling of it. And
Mm-hmm.
again, if it plays, I haven't tried to stream it yet or see what it's going to look like. If it's going to need multiple windows or the whole works or stuff like that. Again, it plays really well, and it plays like a Dungeons and Dragons type hit point game because it starts with each wrestler of let's say 350 points, and then you have a percentage like Action Pro is where you choose a move and you have a 78.5% chance of hitting this move and a 15% of missing it. And if you miss it, the move goes to the other person. If you hit it, you take hit points away from him. And again, it's fully editable. You get 3 finishers per guy, so you can make your own finishers. I've done some work with it to hire. Our friends have had done it, so I kind of took their methods and made it instead of having like 300 points per person, I made like 600. So the matches do last quite a bit longer. And I try to make I now try to make the game where if Andre the Giant was to wrestle Ron Juggett, Ron Juggett cannot do power slams and body slams because it's impossible. So if those moves come up, you can't choose those because there's no way he can do it in
That's
wrestling.
pretty realistic, Mike.
Yeah, he has to choose moves that he actually could do to him. So, and again, that's just that's something like a home brewed rule on that. Again, I'll have to see if I can show that. And it plays really well. Again, it plays like a Dungeons and Dragons. You try to knock the guy's hit points down to 0, or it does come up with possible pins during the game. And kind of has a 1, 2, 3 interface here, kind of, using what's called a great heart, which automatically kicks out. And the tag team matches work well. Yeah, I think Lance did a really nice job with the game, actually.
Lobster Johnson. That's a new name. Sadby Strout Hockey for Bees. I like it on the computer because you don't have to look at all the charts. So when it goes to be, you have intimidation and penetration, and the more advanced you go, the harder those get. And there's other charts that you look at. And sometimes when you go to penetrate, you can't do it because you roll that giant 30-sided die. I forgot who was. I think it was ID that had one, and I was calling it the Everlasting Gobstopper because it's huge. That kind of flows well on the computer. But that would be, I think for me, flow means that kind of stop. You just kind of when you start the game, you just keep going with it and don't have to stop too often to clarify for rules or to find a certain chart and then roll against that to see. One is my next 1986 football game. I got an absolute barn burner that's going to be uploaded this afternoon because I was supposed to be doing a baseball game at noon. Kurt had an issue come up. He wasn't going to be able to sit there for the start of the game. I'm tired. I've been up since 5. Wifey had to be at the hospital by 7 for a test or two, And so that just kind of worked out fine. So I actually taped a football game yesterday, the Jets and the Patriots. Worth the price of admission for sure. Of course, you're not paying anything for it, but even if you had to pay for it, worth the price of admission for sure. Lunchtime stream, next one will be Tuesday, and the next lunchtime stream will be Tuesday, and it will be, Mike, it'll be the return trip to Minneapolis for the Bears and the Vikings. We had the Vikings Bears from Soldier Field, and the Vikings beat them. And now the Bears will get their chance to exact some revenge at the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, noon Eastern, 10 Mountain.
That's the big hefty bag from the big hefty bag in the sky.
That's right. Lobster Johnson loves his 30-sided die. It's a yellow one, not as big as ID Jester's. That thing was huge. So yeah, the next live stream will be Tuesday, and I'll get a rain check date for Kurt on the baseball game.
So we had Carolina, Tampa Bay. I didn't even turn the game on. We had Carolina, Tampa Bay from jolly old England today. Any idea what the score was?
Oh God, I forgot about that. It wasn't 83-0, was it? I got home from wherever Sarah and I were doing yesterday. I turned on Al's game, and I heard kind of the backstory as he's going along, and it was 63-0 when I turned it on. And normally that gets okay. That's very nice. But Al was kind of like, you've heard him tell the story on Chat with Al of like stuffing the kid in the garbage can type deal. Oh, someone has spoiled it for me. And I'm delighted at this, by the way. Baseball Demos is bringing Manic Monday back tomorrow. So Larry Harris tells me it's 17-7 Carolina. Were you looking for a score, or were you going to tell me a score?
No, I was wondering what the score was. I didn't get a chance to turn it on. I should have, and I didn't. So
17-7 at the half, Carolina.
Oh, wow, that playing.
So Al says blood, 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 and so I just started laughing. It's like, wow. I could just see Paul Brown slipping into the Bill Belichick Emperor Palpatine routine. Or the old Don Rickles mafia routine about singing as you're beating someone to death. Bing! Oh, Carolina elected at the end of the half. Did they make it? I've never seen a team make that. Years ago, we're talking about the free kick when you make a fair catch around midfield, then you can try for the free field goal. I saw that once. I've never seen it work, but the first time I saw that was between the Colts and somebody. The first year they were in Indianapolis, and he almost made the kick. It was like a 67-yarder. Oh, wide right. He didn't make it. So no one's ever made that. But
so the first time I saw it made, I think it was between the Guards and the Convicts.
Ah.
What was that? Drop kick? What was it worth? 3 points?
I did watch the game where Doug Flutie did the drop kick for the extra point in his last game in the NFL. That was awesome. That was such a Flutie thing. My dad loved Doug Flutie, and he was so happy when he played for the Bills. So yes. So we're gonna have the Bird versus the Bird. So it's Reggie Jackson, Mark the Bird Fidrich, and the 76 matchup between the Tigers and the Orioles. I'm delighted to see that back. Absolutely delighted. Those were fun. Let's see what else. So you're doing. Is that your first longer short season project?
Yeah, I've always wanted to try something similar to that. I know on the computer I have something called, and I remember playing it early on when I started the stream, was called a Strat Redemption League, basically taking teams that kind of screwed up in game 7s and put them all in the league and see who will fully redeem themselves. So,
and somehow Roger Clemens was mysteriously injured and never pitched for the '86 Red Sox. I don't understand. He's not denying that either. You hear that. Anyway, Baseball Demos will be using Inside Pitch for that. That's another one. I watched some of ID's replay, the Bo Jackson one, and some of their ideas are good, but I'm just kind of roll for the pitcher and then roll for the batter. The one game that I liked that's kind of out, besides payoff pitch, that was outside the box as far as how to do that pitcher batter leverage was dice baseball. Did you ever watch some of Al's streams in that?
I saw Al in that and thought about getting it too. I'm just trying to think, games wise, and can I maybe put it as part of, like, Al put the cards on a Excel. I'm wondering, okay, can I do this?
Use it with
the
I like the concept that different pitchers have different controls. And of course, when you're dealing with any Bob Gibson season from the late 60s, it's going to be a lot. There were some glitches with the game. I think the fielding charts were a small 3-ring binder. I may be wrong on that, but I like the basic idea of, let's say, a 76 Fidrich, for instance, would be, you'd have heavy control because he was good, and someone like an 82 Mike Torres would have very little control over his cards because it wasn't all that good. You'll be happy to know that OOTP 20 also had Ron Guidry win the pitching Triple Crown in '78.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like I said, very interesting. You're a big college football fan. There's a dearth of college football.
I'll say this, and a couple things kind of irked me yesterday when I heard it. Do you mind? Like, jump on a soapbox for a minute?
Michigan won. I don't care.
Okay, no, it's not about Michigan. We beat Michigan twice, and we had a chance to beat them, so that was good.
Everybody's beat Michigan when they've had the chance to beat them.
I think that was Harbaugh's first game coaching as a coach. I think it was when they brought the Wolverines up here on a Friday night. Anyway, transgressing. First of all, we're reading somewhere that BYU yesterday, they lost to South Florida. They were playing and they started their very first African American ever at quarterback. And because they hadn't let African Americans on the football field or school since 1970, that kind of that really sits wrong for me. Yes, I'll fully admit, for the past 20 years, I am LDS. I'm very proud of it, but I'm not proud that that BYU hadn't started an African American quarterback. Till then, they could say, well, maybe there wasn't a good one. Oh, I don't know about that. Or it kind of irks me that they didn't have him on the team or something since 1970 was the very first year.
It's 49 years ago. Longer than I've been alive.
Yeah, but most of these teams probably had him on there before that. So another thing is, we have TV, but we have limited, a couple, like 20 or 30 channels. So my wife and I get Hulu for our TV, so we both can ignore each other and watch what we want on our phones.
Married couple bliss. Yes, I understand how this works.
But you know what? Yeah, what I still find wrong with Hulu and everything else is Hulu does not have Pac-12. And again, after I was watching the Yankee game last night, and I was pulling down my notifications on my phone, I was watching Utah. Somehow, if you would have asked me if Utah would have won by 52 points last night, 52-0 in Corvallis, I would have told you were nuts. But they did. They won 50. No, sorry, I think it was 52-7 or something like that in Corvallis last night.
Wow.
So I was. That is a tough place to play at, and I was really
Bunch of
shocked.
wounded ducks.
Beavers.
Beavers, Oregon State. Okay.
Yeah, Oregon State. Eugene is Oregon. If they can beat Oregon that bad again, I'd be jumping for joy. When I worked selling some furniture. That's why me and Todd B sometimes have similar talks about things. I used to have a boss who used to be a major witch, and she was from Oregon. And so when we went up there the one year, a couple years ago, and beat the living duck out of them, I was very, very happy. And they also, because of Nike now, have the uglier than sin uniforms. Even their basketball courts are uglier than sin. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, yesterday, I guess when they obliterated Colorado the other night, they're wearing this ugly sin yellow. Uglier than banana yellow. It was even like a riper yellow.
Even uglier than those god awful fluorescent Seahawk uniforms. Those are pretty bad.
I missed that the other night. There was talk about that, how they wish they would have made the Steve Largent colors would have played the other day. If they really want to turn back the clocks, they should have, worn the 81 Kurt Warner jerseys, or the 80s Steve Largent 80 jerseys. So
those are nice. Those weren't obnoxious.
But my point is, next week they play Arizona State in a pretty big game for that part of the conference. And again, games on Pac-12. So games not on ESPN, games not on FS1, games on, again, Pac-12. Ugh.
Yeah, buried on, even on most complicated packages, that game is buried. See, UVM football undefeated since 1975. They haven't lost a game since 1975.
Who's that?
UVM, University of Vermont.
Oh, okay.
We haven't played since 1974. So it was not a very good football program when they had it, and that's why they don't have it anymore. But yes.
Yeah, I was looking at your Facebook thing, and you had the university. What was it? One of the smaller Montana schools playing golf and trying to play through a.
Oh no, that was high school. That was high school. That was someone else that I stole that from somebody else, and they had snow because you had snow already too, right? Haven't you?
We haven't had any down. We haven't had any down here yet. Everything's going north and up further high elevation, but it's been cold. So
Larry Harris feels for you. He does get the Pac-12, and so it was a high school tournament, and so those kids are spraying the ball everywhere anyway, for the most part, and. If you've ever hit a ball on a cold day with those shafts, it just vibrates because you're striking the ground, for goodness sakes, and trying to clear the green so you can try to read a line on a putt as you're freezing, because golf is not a cold weather sport at all. But they played through.
Two things come to mind when you say that. The first thing is the guy who cleared the path, was it for the Patriot kicker against New England?
Yeah, Don Shula doesn't want you anymore, but yes.
Yeah, that kind of comes to mind when you talk about. I was watching them. They got permission from the high school association to use the towels, the towel space for the putt out. I found that kind of like almost like snowplow type thing too.
They had no choice. You meant what?
Yeah, you couldn't do anything else. Well, I'm sorry. It's been a long night already. What you were saying something. You were saying something about that, and what else? Something else came to mind when you said that.
About batting?
What? Yes, I'm originally from New Jersey, So when we had played in March and hitting
with a metal bat. Oh my
aluminum
god!
bat,
Yes.
yeah, you don't want to come off the bench when it was like 40 degrees and then hit one right off the hands. You know.
Yeah. Exactly. No, same thing with we're talking about golf. Yeah, because it's all done with metal clubs on a cold day, so your hands are feeling it anyway, and then you got to stop and clear. Yeah, why they couldn't postpone. Baseball Demos is dipping his toes into baseball card unboxings. I'm sure it'll go just fine. You know, the key I think with that is buy what you want. There's so much modern stuff out there that it's like you spend money on a newer stuff, and you might get a player that you know, but chances are it's autograph of someone that may or may not be any good. And that's the way that the hobby's kind of focused right now, is more on the hits than on the actually putting the sets together. Late 80s stuff, of course, is still cheap. Early 80s stuff, unopened, is starting to get rare. And junk wax. Oh, well, then you're fine. It's all about having fun. I mean, you get that Jose Canseco. That's great. Fits my budget. Yeah, it fits my budget too. I haven't bought in a while. Last time I bought, I was into the heritage stuff for a while and would buy 2 boxes of that every year. I might buy some of that this year because it's 71 coming up, and that's the year I was born. And you're supposed to get that guaranteed hit per box, Mike. One box didn't have a hit, and the other one was, oh goodness gracious, relief pitcher, Billy Wagner, theory pitch for the Red Sox, which I forgot, which we all tried to forget unless you're a Yankee fan. And I got like a jersey card of him, and it was just a blob of red. There wasn't even a letter. It's like, why bother? $100. So,
yeah, he thought he had the right or permission to use enter the Sandman while playing for the Mets in New York. Yeah, no.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go in a minute. Hopefully you get out before another 2 hours and fall asleep to watching some football this afternoon. Giants and Patriots already played, so I really don't care what the hell happens today in the NFL. And I didn't watch that because I was watching
and my quarterback had Tommy John surgery, so I'm pretty much, if they win, good. If not, oh well.
Oh, now here's an interesting idea. Baseball. I just got an 87 top cello box. I have 2 86 cello boxes. I paid less for them 10 years ago than I would have an 86. It was kind of, even with shipping, it was cheaper. I might set it up where each pack belongs to a member of the FOC to see who gets the biggest hit. Well, you know the one I'm getting. It's the one with Bob Stanley on the front. Because I haven't suffered enough in my life with that. That's kind of cool. And I would think that 87 Mattingly would have just made you thrilled to pieces.
And yeah, he had a pretty good year there. I wish it was like 85, but I'll take 87s before his back went out.
I got a couple 84s. I have the 84 set. That was a nice one for that. 87 tops, regular.
There's not a lot of big hits in there. You got the Bonds in there, but I'm not sure if how much it's still
$1
kicking around right now.
I mean, they produced so much of that set that the cases had cases. So
there is that Netflix there is that Netflix movie about baseball card collecting. If those who watch Netflix, I couldn't even watch the end of it because it kind of upset me, because it was about this guy who felt he went away, had all these cards, and came back. It was going to try to sell them. And when he went to sell them, the baseball card shops laughed at his face. I guess.
Dad, you go out for 10 years, and there's a Larkin rookie. Barry Larkin played up here in Burlington, by the way, with the Reds. There are people that I know of that spent hundreds of dollars on Craig Jeffries and Cal Daniels rookies. They'd buy bricks of 500 of the card, thinking that was going to be their retirement. Oh, it's a baseball card. You can't even use it as toilet paper. And so if you spent like $1 a card for $500 in the cards, and now the cards might be worth, if you bought 500, they might be worth $5.
How the movie nearly ended. I didn't even see the credits because it upset me so much. Is he was so upset that they laughed at him that his cards weren't worth anything and that he couldn't help him, give him a new limo or something like that. Him and his buddies got together and started making a bonfire out of him.
Yeah, I wouldn't burn them. I mean, but
I loved my cards. My mother was a big supporter for them, for helping me get them, and there's a lot of history with that, and that kind of just hit me the wrong way. How just because your cards aren't worth anything, you're going to sit there with your friends and throw them in a bonfire.
I don't get the whole burning the jersey because your player left mentality either. You got the memories of it, and in like LeBron's case, he came back.
Well, I hope the jersey you wore last night doesn't have that same curse.
True story. Then we're going to end this here. I had the chance a couple years ago. I bought my first Canadiens jersey with a name on it, and I had a choice of Carey Price or PK Subban. And I think Montreal fans have taken Price for granted for years. He's now the all-time winningest goalie in that franchise's history. And if you think about the names that they've had through there, Dryden, Waugh, Jacques Plante, others. I mean, that team is just full of Hall of Fame goalkeepers, and Price has more wins than anybody. Dummy me went with PK Subban, who was promptly traded to Nashville for Shea Weber, who was yet to stay healthy for an entire year. That's another story. No, it's fine. I was joking with my buddy that, can I return this? It's only slightly used. No, you can't do that. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I have a Mookie Betts jersey that I'm sure that will be, to the dustbin soon because the Red Sox seem to want to trade him. I have my own Nats jersey, by the way, with my own number. But nah, if the Nats are stupid enough not to hold on to Rendon, that's their own damn fault. Baseball wanted to get 89 upper deck box, but they're almost 200 on eBay because of Griffey. I like baseball cards for nostalgia, not because someone is a PSA 10.
Amen.
All right. So you were going to say?
So had Rendon and Nationals been in contact with? Have they had any kind of preliminary contract talks?
I think they'll get something done. You got that window after the World Series. I think they made it pretty clear that nothing was going to happen during the season. And Anthony is even though I believe Boris is his agent, they've gotten stuff done in the past. I don't think it's anywhere near as accurate. He doesn't have Bryce Harper's ego. This is his chance to get paid. So
is Bryce Harper enjoying the postseason now?
I saw a great meme the other day about I can't think of, it's like the old MasterCard ads, how much it was worth to get to finally break through and get to the LCS and win the playoffs, and something about, and how about that roster? Bryceless. Like,
Did you see my my cowboy meme on my Facebook?
I'm sure I did.
About why the Cowboys like a girl or something, because they like a loser and they don't expect a ring or something.
That's yeah. I did see that. Now it's funny. Quarterback for the Giants' name is Daniel Jones. Now he's actually played pretty well. First high school I went to, but a female buddy of mine, she and her husband are huge Cowboy fans. I mean, she's been a Cowboy fan since the original Super Bowl year, in the late 70s. Okay. Well, his name is Danny Jones, and I can't wait for the Giants and Cowboys to play again so he can root against himself as the quarterback of the New York Giants. I think that's great. All right. Well, hopefully we made this hour of yours pass by a little better.
Thank you, Ron.
Oh, thanks for being here. And so we'll figure out a new time for the baseball game at some point. Today, we're going to upload the Jets and the Patriots from Foxborough from 1986. A barn burner for sure. Man, those two teams are fun. I had no idea just how, without giving away the game, just how good Tony Eason was. I absolutely had just kind of like when we did 78, had no idea that Steve Grogan could run. I'm amazed, especially after the pounding the Bears gave him in that Super Bowl, because that's what people remember about him was that. So look for that later and watch, because that's fun. Next live stream on the channel will be Tuesday at noon. The Bears and the Vikings from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. I think the Giants are the other game this week. Giants in Seattle. And because there's a Giant Washington game coming up in a couple of weeks too. So, all right. Well, thanks to Mike for coming on such short notice. And Mike is stuck at work for a couple more hours. I'm Ron Juckett. Hit that like and subscribe, and we will talk to you sometime soon. For now, bye-bye.
All right. Good. Hey, what's up, man?